2, 3. Hi, darling, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to our channel. So for today's video, I want to tell you guys how I teach my daughter a second language, Russian, without speaking the language. So Isabella is not 2 yet. She's gonna be 2 in May. If you want to raise bilingual kids or you want to teach your kid a second language, these are some tips that come in handy, because my husband is Russian and his family, they're from Russia, but they live in America and I'm Jamaican, which I had no experience with the Russian language before I met my husband. And my daughter, she has a lot of Russian in her vocabulary. So I've decided to do this video because I've recently had one of Sioma's family member, like at least a few of them, compliment me on the fact that I'm doing a good job teaching Isabella Russian. So I've decided, like, if they see it good, that means she's really doing good. So why do I do this? The benefits of your child having a second language, or the reasons why you should teach your child a second language even if you don't speak the language. It's possible to teach them, or at least encourage that language. So here on my phone, I'm looking at this thing I found online. Some 10 benefits of your child being bilingual or speaking 2 languages. One is being bilingual has positive effects on the brain. It didn't say exactly how, but it says studies show that being bilingual has many cognitive benefits. 2, bilingualism gives you an educational advantage. So I guess it makes you smarter, they're trying to say. Bilingual children have been seen to outperform monolingual students in their native language. Languages are highly valued in the workplace. So that is one of the main reasons why I decided to teach her a second language, because I feel like in the future there might be an added opportunity for her to explore. It might be, might not be so, but at least she'll have the advantage, or at least she'll have whatever it takes just in case the opportunity arises. So if she knows how to speak Russian and English fluently, she'll have an advantage over a person that only knows how to speak English. So that's my main reason for wanting her to know the language. 3rd, being bilingual has been linked to health benefits. Now this one I did not really know. I don't know how. There have been many studies proving that being bilingual can benefit one's health. I don't see how being bilingual can be linked to health benefits, but that's what they're saying here. Speaking more than one language makes you more open-minded. Well, that one is a given, because you know you enjoy the best of both worlds. So speaking a foreign language can be highly beneficial when you travel. So that is another great thing too. If she decided she want to travel to Russia or wherever in Europe, she might come in handy. I mean, wherever that speaks Russian. Being bilingual opens you up to social opportunities. That's another good plus. You can make some friends that might speak the language. Knowing more than one language helps you to learn additional language, which is true. I've heard this one before, that if you learn another language, it's easier for you to learn a 3rd or a 4th language. So if she's bilingual and she knows how to speak English and Russian, it shouldn't be as hard for her to learn, per se, let's say French, or let's say German, or whatever, Afrikaans, whatever language it is. It makes it easy. I guess the brain already is used to switching back and forth from between languages, so it won't be as hard for her to learn a 3rd or a 4th language. Being bilingual means you can raise bilingual kids, which is a given. She can also teach her kids the language if she chooses. You are not the minority if you are bilingual. So they're basically saying if you're bilingual, you stand out. You stand out because majority of us are monolingual, only speak one language, especially in America, because she was born in America, she's gonna be raised in America. So if she's bilingual, she's gonna have an advantage over most of her peers. So those are the benefits of being bilingual. I just thought to throw that in there for you guys before I give you these 5 tips on how I teach my kid a second language, or I'm maintaining it. I'm Jamaican. If you don't know me, hey, I'm Jamaican, and in Jamaica we don't really have another language. We have another dialect, which is Patois. And you might ask why I don't teach her Jamaican Patois. I decided not to teach her Jamaican Patois because Jamaican Patois is not a standard language. It's just a dialect, and she can't really use it for job opportunities. She can learn it. I do say stuff to her in Patois, so I feel like she would catch on to the Patois way sooner than she would catch on to the Russian. Yeah, so as I said earlier, it's way easier for her to learn a third language if she already knows a second language. So a few trips to Jamaica, being around my mom, she'll learn the Patois easy. At least she won't get the accent, but she at least understand it. My number one tip is I use the words that I know in Russian over and over, and I replace the Russian words with the English words. Is that right? So the first thing I do is I use the Russian words that I know over and over, and I replace the English words with the Russian words I know. So even if I don't know like the complete sentence, the one word that I would know, I would put it into the sentence. The one Russian word, I would put it into the sentence, and I would keep saying it until she get it. I know my grammar isn't perfect or my accent isn't perfect, but she understands because she usually associates it or relates. So I know that she understands and she gets it. One thing with this though, because I do this everywhere, I do this in public, and sometimes I'm even see people looking at me like they probably speak Russian and they know that I'm not Russian, but I don't know, maybe they're laughing in their mind or whatever. The second thing that we love to do, and she's doing right now as I'm making this video, is we watch a lot of Russian cartoons together. Like whenever I have to do something or I'm busy, I put her in front of the Russian cartoon, or me and her would sit together and watch Russian cartoon, and I would relay some of the things that I know that they're saying, and I'll repeat them back to her so she can make that connection, because she'll hear it from, you know, them in the cartoon that actually have the accent, and they probably put it in a grammatical form. So for example, one word that she loves to say is opala. Opala will mean fall, like fell, you know, in the cartoon. If it says opala, I would like emphasize, oh, opala, opala, and she loves it. So that's another way you can teach your kid to learn a second language without knowing the language, is watch a lot of the cartoons with them. Not that I'm encouraging a lot of screen time, but if you have to, let them watch something on the TV, let them watch something in that language. So the third thing I would do is that whenever she goes to her grandma, I would encourage them, or her grandma would speak to her in only Russian, especially when I'm not there. But whenever I'm there, I would try and encourage it even more by jumping in and speaking in Russian also, even though they know my grammar is probably bad and my accent is not there, but they understand and they appreciate it that I'm teaching her the language. Because she's mostly with me, 90% of the time she's with me. So whatever language I'm speaking, that's what she's going to catch on to more, because that's what she will be hearing more. So I just took the initiative to just teach her more Russian. So also whenever I'm not there and her grandma is teaching her Russian and she learns like a new word, I would tell her grandma, like, you know, let me know whatever new word she learned, so I'll pick it up whenever she's saying it. Because if it's a new language for me and she's saying something, I will be like, and I don't really know what she's saying. And one thing I know with teaching kids any language is that if they keep saying something and you keep saying you don't get it, that discourages them from actually wanting to speak. So it's good to, when she tells me, and not only that, is that I also learn a new word that I can add to my vocabulary. The fourth tip that kind of ties in with the third tip is that I try and pick up new words on my own, whether we're hearing it or researching it. Like something pops into my head that I want to say to her, but I want to teach her in a Russian way, I will research it, or I ask my husband, like, how do you say this in Russian? And he will say it to me, and I will kind of catch on to it and then try and add it to my vocabulary and also teach the baby. So it's like we're both learning at the same time. So the last tip, which is tip number 5, is consistency and to encourage the language. So you have to be consistent, because with learning anything new over time, if you're not practicing it, you'll definitely lose it. So consistency is very important, and to encourage the language. I would say, since Russian in our case is the minority language, you would say, I would probably encourage to speak that one more in the house, because we're living in America, so it's not like she's hearing it everywhere in every situation. She's only hearing it whenever I say it, or she goes to her grandma, or her dad decides to say to her. So it's best as possible. Sometimes you might be discouraged because, you know, we all know English, so why not just speak English? So if you want to teach a kid language, you have to remember to speak in the language that's least likely, least spoken, and you want her to know, catch on to that second language. I hope you are motivated to teach your kid a second language. It is possible. It's hard work, but it's definitely possible. And at the end of the day, you'll be glad you did. You'll be super glad you did, and you'll be rewarded for it. Not only you, but your child will definitely be happy in the long run that you taught her that language, because I've seen many instances where the family moved to a foreign country and they forget their language, and they never teach the kid the language, but then the kid grow up feeling, you know, feeling sad, like, why didn't my mom or my dad teach me the language, because I would have that advantage. So I don't want to deprive my child of that advantage. I want her to have the best and as much as she possibly can. So I'm taking the time out to now teach her, and that's a bonus tip I'm gonna give you guys, is to start early. Start early, as early as possible. I've been doing this since Isabella was very little, and now I can see that she catches on to stuff really quick. So start early, be consistent, and encourage the language. That's all I have for you guys today. Stay loved, stay blessed, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Paka, paka, bye.